Now I am going to explain you the concept of greenhouse effect. So it is a natural process that warms Earth's surface when the sun's energy reaches the Earth's atmosphere. Some of it is reflected back to space and the rest is absorbed and re-radiated by greenhouse gases like CO2, methane, water vapor, ozone, and some artificial chemicals such as chlorofluorocarbons. So, simply the natural phenomena of maintaining the average temperature of Earth and warming the Earth is called greenhouse effect. So, the greenhouse effect and global warming are two entirely different processes. So, in the Earth's atmosphere, the greenhouse gases behave similar to the gas panels in a greenhouse. So greenhouse is a glass building in which we grow plants, especially in winter, that need to be protected from bad weather. Sunlight passes through the glass in the form of visible radiations, shortwave radiations, which traps some of the heat and makes it warmer in the greenhouse. The warm air provides the heat and energy that the plants need to grow. So without this warm air, the plants would become wither and die. So just like plants in the greenhouse, our earth also needs a certain level of warmth for life to exist. So sunlight, which contains a lots of energy, so travels through the atmosphere, so and hits the earth directly. Some of this sunlight is directly absorbed by the earth and oceans, but much of the energy is reflected back into space. But gases like CO2, CH4, water vapor, methane, ozone, nitrous oxide are called greenhouse gases, which are present in atmosphere. So these gases trap some of the energy. Okay, these gases trap some of the sunlight, heat, energy before it escapes into the space. So these gases trap some of the sunlight before it escape into the space. The heat from this light keeps the earth warm at a temperature that makes life possible. So without these gases, all the sunlight reflected back into the space. So our earth would be a very cold place. So this is called a greenhouse effect. So worked for millions of years until now. So greenhouse effect was first observed by Joseph Fourier in 1824. Greenhouse effect of earth is also called blanketing effect of earth or atmospheric effect of earth. Greenhouse effect is a good thing, but why we are saying that it's a problematic? The problem is that for a long time now, climatologists noticed that the Earth's temperature has been rising and the Earth is getting warmer. They realized that something was wrong, and their research has shown a massive increase in the amount of CO2 and other greenhouse gases, mainly CO2. So scientists analyzed all the various sources of these gases and concluded that the extra amount of these gases not occurring naturally, they are man-made. So mainly through the use of fossil fuels and etc. As we send up more and more carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, so these gases are forming a thick blanket over our atmosphere, which is trapping more heat than is necessary and rising the Earth's temperature. So it's like covering ourselves with blanket at night to keep us warm. The more blankets we add, the warmer we become. So think that extra CO2 and other greenhouse gases as more blankets being added to the atmosphere. So these trap more heat than necessary. So there is a gradual increase of temperature on the Earth's surface due to greenhouse gases called global warming. An everyday example of the greenhouse effect: car parked in the sunlight. If you open the door of a car that has been left parked in the sun, so for a couple of hours, you will notice that the temperature inside the car is much warmer than the temperature outside. So this is because the windows of the car allow the sunlight to enter. So this light, once inside, is then partially converted to the heat. Okay, so these same window that do not allow the heat inside the car to pass through